As of February 15th, we're going to go ahead and look at the different reports and walk through each of them, as well as how to download individual information within the order manager. So let's go ahead and start with the booking reports. So underneath the reports tab on the left-hand menu here, we can click booking reports. By default, this is going to select the Future Flight Aviation Center and Boeing tour. If you wanted to look at the gallery, you could as well. But these are separated out, so we can look at, it's going to default to the current day. So February 19th. We can also flip by day and change days if we want, simply like that. Or we can flip to sort by day, week, month, year, and also a custom range if we want to. So we're going to go ahead and look at each one of those. But first, let's go ahead and flip back to February 19th today so that we can look at this. This is going to give us a snapshot view of what we show here, the total available tickets, right? So because we have 52 for each one of these individual time slots here, we can see that there's 52 available for the 9, 10, 10:30, 11, 12, 1, 2, and 3. And so it easily gives us a nice breakdown of kind of what this looks like. So let's go ahead and flip to the 18th, since there's actually some sales on the 18th. And let's go ahead and look at a couple of these. So if we look at Saturday, February 18th, we can see that 6 tickets were actually sold for right here. So let's go ahead and look at what those are. Again, we can expand and collapse these. We see that there are 3 sold for the 9 a.m., 1 for the 10 a.m., and 2 for the 10:30 a.m. And so that's going to break those down for us. We can also see the total available for each individual time slot, 49 for this one, 51 here, and 50 for the 10:30. We can also see how many of those tickets are checked in. If we were to flip to a day where there was a couple tickets checked in, such as February 23rd, let's say, we should be able to see, looks like this one doesn't have any checked in as well. But if it did, we would easily be able to see which tickets were checked in here. So let's go ahead and flip back to the 18th here we were looking at, and then let's keep going through this. So we've got the time slots here, the number of time slots that we have. Obviously there's only one, there's 8 for the individual day. If you had added one for the 12:30, for example, or the 11:30, that would show 9 for that particular day. It's going to go ahead and break down some of the calculations for the math as well, and give you the average tickets sold per time slot. So obviously in this time slot you've got 1, but for the entire day it's going to break that down. Obviously we only have 1 ticket sold for this day, but if we'll go ahead and break that down and show you what each of those look like. It will also give you the total revenue, so it will show you that there is one ticket sold, depending on. So let's go ahead and take a look at February 18th here. We can see that there are 6 tickets total sold, 0 checked in, and $140 in total revenue. 410 are available, meaning there are 416 total, 52 per each of these time slots here, and the average sold per time slot was 0.75, and the average revenue per time slot was $17.50. So we could see that the average revenue per tour here, or time slot, is just under $20 here, and the average number of tickets we sold for each individual time slot or tour is 0.75, and that's because we've only sold 6. Obviously for the day on this particular test demo. So let's go ahead and look at a higher, let's go ahead and look at the week, for example. So we can simply flip to the week view and sort by week. And now we're going to see that it's going to automatically expand the beginning of the week on Sunday. And then what we can do is we can see each individual day, and we can collapse and expand these as we want to. So if we wanted to show for the whole week, it's going to tally up all those numbers for us here again. And we could look at, for example, Tuesday, and that would break down all the individual sales that we have for Tuesday. We can also sort by month if we wanted to see the entire month of February. And again, it's going to give you by week. The reason why it shows by week 5, 6, 7 is to give you the ability to compare week by week for each year. So you could look at February 2017 and then look at a different year if you wanted to, and compare week 5 with week 5 from 2018, for example. So let's go ahead and flip to the year view. We can also view things by the entire year. Again, it's going to take all of 2017 and it's going to break down everything that we show here. We have everything. It's going to give you a little bit of leeway here to look at all of the different individual weeks that you have. So week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it will give you every particular breakdown by week. You can of course download that information, and it will also give you the totals tallies for those particular slots. So we can also do a custom date range, which will definitely be something that you guys will be utilizing. So for example, if we wanted to look at all of January, from let's say all of January to January 31st, and then filter that out. That's going to go ahead and give us all of the different by week and then by individual day what those look like for each of those sales. So that gives us that custom range so that we can look at any particular quarter or any of those particular numbers and then download that information if we want. If we do download it, we can go ahead and generate that individual download. That's going to download the file, and then of course we can open that Excel file and look at what that looks like. So if we did download that, this is what that individual Excel download would look like. It will show us the total inventory, 52, the total tickets sold. It will show us the total ticket sales as well for each individual time slot. So this is January 1st at 9, 10, 10:30, 11. And it's going to break all of these numbers down, and it's also going to give us the individual numbers by tier. And you'll see that for whatever the range is that you downloaded, it will give you all the numbers. Again, most of this is test data, so there's not a ton of data in here, but you can see a couple sales, and you can continue to see each individual time slot broken down by individual tier all the way through whatever the range was that you had collected. So that should just about wrap us up on the booking report. Now let's go ahead and switch to the tickets by time slot report. We're going to come back to the sales report and the demographics reports, but we're going to switch to tickets by time slot, which is essentially tickets by tour. And again, it's going to default to a particular day here. We can go ahead and switch this over. So let's go ahead and click on February 18th, so we have a little bit of data inside of here. And we can see how many tickets were sold. Again, how many adults were sold and how many youth. Again, we have 6 sold here. This will break down by the individual time slot so we can see what it looked like for that particular day. And it will break down each one of these individual tiers to show all of those. It'll show you the total sold as well as the total tickets checked in for any of those. So we could go ahead and click on the entire week. Again, this will break down and show us everything that was sold, starting on and also breaking it down by each individual time slot to see which ones were the busiest. If it was 10:30 or if it was this one. We can also click on these individual ones to turn on and off these individual tiers, and we can also look at a graph based on checked in versus tickets sold. So let's go ahead and look at the entire month of, let's look at January, for example. So if we click on January, we have a little bit more activity. So we can see down here each individual tier from 9 to 10 and see how many total tickets by each individual tier were actually sold. And of course, we have our entire total number here, total tickets sold 567, and then those are broken down by the individual time slot across the board here, so we can see all the way by each individual tier. We can also stack these if we want. We can either have them grouped or we can have them stacked. This might be easier for you to look at to see the total of which was sold the most for each individual time slot across the board here. Again, you can download this information into Excel, and you can also set this to a custom format if you decide that you want to just look at all of January's data. That's going to go ahead and filter those numbers for just January 1st through the 31st and give you all those here. And then again, you can visualize that data however you might want to look at each individual slot and how many were sold on each one, which were the busiest time slots. Looks like 10:30 here was the busiest, and then 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock shortly following after. That's going to sum us up on the tickets by time slot or tour report. So let's go ahead and switch over now to the sales reports. So the sales reports are going to give us the number of tickets sold. For example, yesterday, if we look at on the 18th here, we had, it looks like 6 total tickets. Again, this is going to show all events, so it's going to show the Boeing Tour as well as the Stratodeck. Again, if you just want to look at the Future of Flight Aviation Center and Boeing Tour, simply just click on that. And then it will only show you the information for that particular, for just the Boeing Tour. Again, we do have tickets being issued for the tour, as well as every time a Boeing Tour is purchased, it includes a ticket to the gallery so that it can be scanned in one barcode. So if we look at here, we can see that 6 tickets were sold. The grand total is $150, and we can see that the tickets sold was 6. The checked-in number checked in was 0. Otherwise, it would show a number there. And we can see all the information here. If we didn't want to look at the tiers and we just wanted to keep it at that, we could do that as well. Let's go ahead and look at the entire week. For example, if we wanted to look at the entire week of the 19th, or we can look at the entire month. So let's look at all of February, for example. We can see that, or all of January for that matter, we can see that there was $14,192 generated, 631 tickets sold, and then it will give us all of our numbers and breakdowns there. So then here we can see that there were 48 tickets checked in out of those 631, and all of the different breakdown by individual tier. So there was 11,000 adults, and then all the way down through the different ticket tiers. So again, we also have a custom option. So for example, if you wanted to see what the sales were for when these tickets were, where these orders were actually placed from January 1st to the 31st, we can filter that out. And then, of course, that's going to give us those same numbers we looked at there. And then we can go ahead and download that information as well directly into Excel if we want to take a look at that. So if we go ahead and click on that, that's going to generate an Excel download for us for all of those sales. So let's go ahead and switch back to look at the month, for example, and look at January. And that's going to generate those same results. We can then click here, download, and we can download either the sales report, which is just the Excel version of the report that we just looked at. And again, if we wanted to look at that in Excel, that's what this is going to look like. It's going to give us by each individual event, by the Boeing Tour, as well as the Aerospace Gallery and Stratodeck. So we can just look at these numbers here, see exactly how many of these tiers were sold, what the total revenue was, and break all of those down for us. Additionally, we can go ahead and download the transactions report for a particular day. So let's go ahead and look at the particular day of February 18th, for example. And we can see that if we wanted to download the transactions report here, that will download that. Let's go ahead and open that. And again, this is what this is going to look like. So this is going to give us all of the transactions for each of these. We can see this one was refunded here. The transaction itself was cash. It will show us the transaction dates, as well as the order numbers, and the name, email, and the total cost broken down for us. So that should wrap us up on the sales reports. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the demographics report. The demographics report, again, you have to have enough data in order to be able to look at this. There isn't a ton of data in the demo site at this particular time. However, let's go ahead and look at all of the entire month of January, for example. We can see as more data enters the system, we'll be able to see more other countries and things like that. If we look at U.S. Within the United States, we can see here that we have all of California and Washington. So this will break it down. If we wanted to look at California or Washington, we could click into it by just clicking into Washington. And then we can see the zip codes that are part of that. So again, we can see the same thing in California. If we break that down, it'll show us all the different zip codes that are there. Again, all of these are using the same zip codes, but you can drill down from country all the way to state, province, and then again by clicking into the state, and then view by zip codes as well. So that should sum us up for most of the reports. Remember, you can always go to the Order Manager, click on any filter sets that you want. We did cover that in the Orders Manager video. Again, if you wanted to look at all of the tickets that were purchased, for example, for an occurrence date range, meaning when they were booked for, or if you wanted to look at sales for today, sales that actually happened today, you can go ahead and just click that, and that would give you all of the different tickets that were actually that were booked. Simple enough. I can go ahead and filter out that, and that will filter out all of my results based on any particular tickets that were sold today. So therefore, we can see these were tickets that were sold today. Again, we can clear those out if we want to, and then we can also filter by GTOs if we wanted to look at all GTO orders that were purchased between maybe a custom date range of January 1st and let's call it January 31st. We could go ahead and filter all of those out, and that would filter all the GTO orders out. It'll show us the individual GTO name. Again, these are all purchased by the same GTO here, but this will give us all of those results. And then we can, of course, download that information by simply clicking download. That will download that information into a CSV file. So again, if I was to open that up, this is what that would look like. These are all of the order information, giving you the order ID, the identifier, which is the order identifier, the status of that order, the purchaser names, purchaser email addresses, grand totals, when it was purchased, the billing information, all of the full address information here, and every bit of information that was collected, as well as the ticket breakdowns, meaning what was included in the actual order itself as well. So that will go ahead and wrap us up on downloading data, as well as all of the different reports that we've covered within the system.